Well, good morning, everybody. It has been a few days, and the reason is because my life has been a complete crap show. So I have had everything that could break down, would break down, go wrong, and we have just had a ton of stuff. So I have not followed around with the camera, frankly, because I was so pressed for time to get things done. We're doing a big remodel stuff on our house. We're working on getting our shop done, getting it organized. I've been building a bunch of fence. We had a breakdown on some cars and some equipment I've been working on. It's been a busy time. So I'm going to show you guys some of what we have done. Spring is here as well, so I can show you guys. We've had some rain, and I literally mowed all this down out here by my pond, I think 3, 4, 5 days ago, something like that. Very recently, and it is already just overtaken. I mean, it's just crazy how fast everything's growing. So this time of year is crazy busy. So a lot of the videos as well would be me mowing, because I spend several hours a day mowing and weed eating and doing stuff. So thought I'd come out here and show you guys that. Every morning I try to come out here and feed the fish, and man, there's a little bit of everything out there. It's pretty crowded. The catfish kind of take the majority of the camera, but there's bass, perch, crappie, there's even some goldfish. For the next couple months there'll be some trout mingled in there, so it's pretty enjoyable. We come out here every day and do that. So anyhow, you guys know we've gotten into sheep, and I've got some more sheep coming, which we weren't ready for because I don't really have enough grazing area fenced off. I have plenty of grazing area, but not fenced off, and I'm tired of mowing. I think that's wasteful, and it's not good for the soil. It doesn't provide anything. So I'm trying to turn everything into something that is beneficial to our family. So the amount of time I spend mowing, I could be doing a lot of other stuff, plus the amount of money. So we took and invested in fencing this year, and the amount of fencing that we bought is about a year's worth of fuel that we spend mowing, and we were able to fence off. We don't have it all done, but we got a bunch of it done. But we'll be able to fence off almost 3/4 of our property into paddocks for our sheep to graze on. So it's going to be pretty awesome with that. So I'll walk you guys around and show you. We got a lot of cool stuff going on as well. So while I'm putting this up, I'll show you something else. So I converted a couple carports and a Conex into a shop area that's about 40 by 35 feet. So it works out really well for us, but it was getting real hot. So I bought a little kit. I'll show you guys the thing. It's and no endorsement, no nothing like that. It worked real well. But and it's a Kraken. This is the foam cleaner, but it's cans of foam, and it has a little gun like this that you can use to spray. And I'm gonna tell you what, it's worked really well. So I was able to put and I've got about a 3/4 inch area, and the little kit was right at like 200 bucks with the gun. It came with enough stuff to spray everything, and it worked really well. So we were able to do that. And the other day I took my little laser, and during the heat of the day, the tin on the shop where I didn't get it sprayed was 128 degrees, and the spots that I did spray were less than 92 degrees and some in the 80s. So I mean, a 30-degree temperature, and I literally was able to use an air conditioner instead of a evaporative cooler in there to make it cool down. So that's really awesome because it'll get the humidity out of there. I've sprayed foam professionally with people, and this stuff, it sprays very similar, and you can get, I don't know, 25-30 square feet, and then you got to swap out a can, and that's about it. So it works. It's amazing. It's amazing how well it works. So our food forest, permaculture orchard, whatever we're doing, it has been overgrown with weeds. I was gone on a fishing trip, and there's just a bunch of stuff come on, so we've been very lacking on it. And we're catching up the first half, but the back half where we don't have any vegetables at is really grown up. So we're going to work on that this week. I don't mind the weeds. The weeds, we feed our pigs, so it doesn't really matter. It's still food as long as it's not in a place taking nutrients from something else. So we got to get it caught up for the aesthetics of it, but we actually use the weeds as a food source for our animals. But man, things are really starting to green up around here. Garlic is doing amazing. So we got garlic coming up. Our blueberry plants are starting to come to life. You can see there's our two sheep. That's Dottie and Bobby that you guys named. But all of our fruit trees, everything has seemed to survive. Our plum thickets that I showed you guys that we planted, they are all budding. Some of them didn't, and I was a little bit worried. But they're all coming up. You can see the leaves on them. The elderberry that we planted, it's coming up. Really doing good. I gotta weed this section really bad, but planted is doing very well. Some of the plum thickets that we planted that didn't come up, they're actually coming up from the bottom of the root now, so I think they're all gonna make it. Our potatoes out here in the weeds, I gotta get that section done. They're doing really good. Our onions are out here. We've got radishes and sugar beets and carrots coming up. A portion of this area is doing really well. We're doing a lot of changes on other things, so I have not used my tiller in I think 3 years. With the method of farming that we're doing, or gardening, or homesteading, whatever you want to call it, I try not to till the soil. I don't like tilling soil. However, there is a time, and that time was today for us. I am going to do something a little bit different. I have a piece of land that is wasted, and it's just kind of, and I'm walking you guys to it, and I'll show it to you. Let me show you the sheep. So there's our sheep, and here is, we built this area around the food forest, and we're putting cane all on that fence. But this section of fence, you can see I got a big old pile of telephone poles, so I'm using them for corner posts. But we were able to fence in one old big section on the side of our solar that I always used to have to mow. Well, the sheep, I mean, they crap everywhere. So when sheep are out there, it really changes the entire make of the ground. They really do a good job. But I didn't want them crawling on my solar. So where my solar is, I have taken and fenced it off big enough to where I can drive a vehicle down through there. If the solar company has to ever come work on anything, they're able to get through it, and the sheep aren't able to do it. But it was a waste of land. So on this side here, I just sprinkled it through there, and then I spread some manure over the top. But this side here, anytime, you can see there's condensation on there today, and it's not rained, but it drips every morning. So this side of the solar, I decided to sprinkle alfalfa, and then I'll take my push mower and I'll mow through there, and my chickens love it, the pigs love it. It's a good way to get another food source for free on a wasted piece of land, and then I don't have to mow it. So this whole thing here, and I'll have to irrigate it as well, but it will end up turning into nothing but a little alfalfa patch that we'll be able to use as a food source. On this side, I hate to have a wasted piece of land, and half of this gets full sun all day long, but the wind blocks it. So we decided that we're going to plant our sweet corn here this year. So I literally tilled this up, and I put a bunch of manure in there and tilled it all up and broke this soil that's never been used for anything. So in the future, we'll start throwing wood chips and mulch and compost and stuff on that. But this first year, I mixed a bunch of manure in there, and we're going to put our sweet corn here. So that is 120 foot of solar. So we'll have 120 foot, probably 3, maybe 4 rows of corn that I'm going to plant today. With that said, I spent almost all day yesterday working on this beast. The tires, you can see they're dry rotted something really bad because it sat for several years. So I tried to get the axle off, I couldn't, so I ended up having to hammer the axle forward on farther, polish the shaft on it like you would do to pull an electric motor, and ended up having to MacGyver a pulley puller on there. I think it was actually a harmonic balancer pulley that I used and hooked on the rim. Was able to get the tire off. I bought a tire machine and all the stuff to do tires. I have a manual one and a pneumatic one, and I never messed with it, so I had to learn how to do that. And the pneumatic one, I can't get that rim on, so I had to do it manually. So after about 3 hours of fighting with this tiller to get the tire off, or the rim off of the machine, and then the tire off the rim, I got a tube because I couldn't find a tire. Well, I popped the tube because there's indentions in the tire that are rough and rubbing it up, so the tube's not going to work. So I thought, well, we'll take it off. So I took the tire back off a second time, and I called everywhere within 100 miles of here, and I cannot find a tire for these things. There's nobody that has them. In order to order one, the 12th of May was the fastest I was going to be able to get one, which is almost a month. I can't wait that long. I'm already behind on my garden because we haven't got everything done, and there's certain things that I'm going to have to till this year. So I put the tire back on, third time, and I just spray foamed my shop. So I took that gun and I drilled some holes in the tire and I just spray foamed them. And I tilled all what I just showed you where the corn was this morning with it. Worked out perfect. I drilled some 3/8 holes, 4 of them around the tire, and I'd fill it up and then keep it up off the ground to where it wouldn't get flat. And I'd raise it up and I'd spray each hole until it wouldn't take anymore, and I'd turn it around, and then I did it again. Now when I did that, I didn't let it sit long enough and the tire spun off yesterday, so it didn't work. So I use the black cement that you use to seal a bead down if you don't have, I think it's called bead sealer, and I put that on the tire to where it sealed to the rim real good, and then filled it up, let it sit overnight. It's working like a charm, and you can, they're pretty good. There's really no issues whatsoever. So with that said, I'm going to spend the day tilling and getting a bunch of stuff out here done in the garden. I'm extending my garden another 35 feet to what we used to have, and I don't have the compost, I don't have the mulch, I don't have the stuff to do that. So I am going to come out here and till the section that we haven't used before, get all the weeds that are in there knocked down, and I'm going to add a ton of manure. I have a big pile right there of manure, and it is all been aged several years, so it's not going to burn the ground or anything. We've already tested it. It seems to be working real well. So we're going to get that all tilled, and I'm going to plant probably milo or something in that area. I'm not going to plant vegetable crops. I'm going to plant something that I can feed my animals. So either millet or milo, but I have some milo seeds, so I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to just till it out there, and then I'm going to go out there and plant it all in milo. Trying to think what else we've got going on that's new. I've started getting my firewood pile, trying to get it back down. Again, the hydraulic lines ruptured on my old splitter, so I ended up having to rebuild them. The fuel pump in my wife's car went out. I had to redo it. I had to change an O2 sensor. There's just a lot of stuff. But I've been playing mechanic all day yesterday. I played mechanic. Big old pile of firewood here. So every morning I come out here, I spend 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and I use a battery operated DeWalt saw just on principle. I want to say I did it with that, and it works really well. And I can go through 4 batteries, and with them 4 batteries I can cut a rick of wood. Usually takes me less than an hour, half hour to an hour, depending how big the chunks are. I'll cut them, the big pieces I'll split and I'll put up there, then I'll go put my batteries back on the charger for the day and start it back over. Gives me a little bit of a workout, and then we're able to get things done. We also added some new animals to the mix of our farm this week. We were at Tractor Supply looking for dang tires for that stupid tiller, and we found some guineas, some geese, and some different chicks that we don't have. So we're trying to add some new breeds in just to get a big, I want to end up with about 100 chickens running around out here. They keep ticks down, they eat bugs and, you know, eggs, and then we can give the eggs away. There's a lot of old people that go to our church and times are tight, so we can give some eggs away and help some people out in that matter. So anyhow, with that said, we've got all of them coming, and then I got a incubator full of Catornix quail eggs, so we're going to try that as well. So we're going to start raising some of those quail. As a kid, I loved quail hunting. The quail have gotten kind of thin around here, and then if there are places that you can hunt, everybody and their brother goes out there, and I don't want to take a chance of getting my dog hurt. So my bird dog is just kind of an old worthless bird dog that sits on a porch and hangs out with us. She doesn't really hunt much at all. Maybe the quail numbers will get picked up, but until then, we're just going to deal with what we got. So the other day I did a video and I showed you guys how we've done some things for security around our place to keep animals out and to secure our place a little bit better, and I was going to show you guys some of them. Well, I'm walking out here, I'll show you. Our blackberries are all blooming. I got to get out here and weed them too, but they're all blooming really well, so that's kind of exciting. Front orchard, you can see my front yard. I mow this little bitty section here in the front yard because my daughter plays softball and volleyball, and we do fly casting lessons and stuff there. But this section, I only mow the outer edges, and the inner side we planted a ton of flower seeds. So there's going to be, it was a 5-gallon bucket of wildflower seeds out there that we scattered this winter, and there's flowers coming up, so that should be really pretty in the next month, I hope. I hope it doesn't turn out to be a fail. Not everything I do works, so that's kind of why we're videoing this, to show you guys along. But anyhow, we planted a bunch of cactuses, and I'm pretty sure I showed you guys in a video the cactuses that we planted on our fence. We have coyotes and coons that keep digging through our fence and coming to our animals, so I thought, what a better way to build a barrier than put a bunch of cactuses. And cactuses are really good for your health. If you do the research, cactuses really help with diabetes. You can cut them in, I'll show a video when it's time to harvest them, but you can pull the pads off, and you can singe the prickly parts off of them to where they don't poke you, and you can cut them up and you can add them in with stuff like peppers. Now they don't have a pepper flavor, but they have a texture, and they don't have a whole lot of flavor, so you can cook them along with your stir fries and stuff, for, you know, Mexican foods, anything that you would use like bell pepper with, and you're able to add them, and they work really well. They help with diabetes. There's just all kinds of good stuff, and the fruits on them are wonderful. So it's one of those things that work really well in the late fall. You get another snack that's almost like pineapple flavor to me. Some people say they aren't, but they are to me. But anyhow, the weeds are kind of bad, but you can see all the cactuses are budding up. We planted over 50 of them out here, so we have a ton of them coming up, and they're all budding out. So I would say by the end of summer, that entire fence front area that we had the problem with coyotes getting through and coons getting through is going to be a big thorny wall. So that'll be awesome. It'll be a good way to keep a bunch of animals and stuff out. So anyhow, I have to get to work. I have the half of the garden I need to till. I need to finish up the mechanical project on my wife's car, and then I also need to finish up a little project for a neighbor lady of mine. So we're gonna get all that stuff done, and then I'll get out here and weed eat and mow and get all these weeds pulled, and it's just nonstop. Y'all don't want to see a fat guy sweating doing that. So that's what's going on. Sorry it's been a few days, but life has been busy. We have added in, I don't know, 100 foot by 100 foot paddock, another 100 foot by 80 foot paddock, and then this next week I'm going to add in one more that's about 300 foot by probably 100 foot. So we should be able to really rotate our sheep around. I've got some Dorper sheep coming and another Katana female coming, so we're going to end up having a pretty good herd getting started. So hopefully they'll all have babies, and we can keep this thing ate down, and then we can end up using them as a food source as well. Plus they really improve the soil, so in future crops, future rotations, we'll be able to do that. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be by in a video every few days. I'm going to try to do better on that, but it has been windy here, and the camera quality is horrible when it's windy, and I got frustrated and thought I'm going to just get these projects done, and I'll do a big update for you guys. So if you haven't, please check out our website, I'veGotBugs.com. We're adding merch pretty consistently to it. I've got a new book that's fixing to be coming out, so if you guys haven't read my book, I have 2 out there. If you go to Amazon or you go to I've Got Bugs, there's a link to the Amazon page, or I can sign copies. They're humorous Patrick McManus style books. I can do signed copies off our website, so check out our website if you're into fly fishing. Our other YouTube channel is I've Got Bugs Fly Fishing. Like, share, spread, all that kind of stuff. We appreciate you guys. See you in the next video.